This is my head canon now. Deal with it. Hey everyone, GXVL here with a brand new anime and manga discussion talking about Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, the series. That is right, I have been recently getting into this series for a quite while actually, especially when the anime premiered. Heck, I only own 3 of the manga, but luckily this will help me out on talking about my own experience with the series and my initial thoughts. So don't take this as a review whatsoever, so there's not going to be that much critiquing, okay? The other thing I do want to mention is the fact that, like, well, this may come as a shock, but I have never been too crazy nor always been trying to watch anime when it comes to the Japanese dub, the English subtitles. Heck, Dragon Ball, where it all started of watching anime, personally for me, that I've always watched the English dub. Same thing with the Godzilla. But up until Dragon Ball GT, and even finally watching the first ever Godzilla movie, the 1954 one known as Gojira, is the fact that, like, the moment I finally watched that one, I realized, you know what, let me watch the Japanese dub with the English subtitles and not the exposition dump known as the Americanized version for Godzilla 1954. Yeah, that's how I strongly feel about that one. It's nothing but exposition, and it only tries to get you invested with one character. That's what it came across to me. So with the Japanese dub, it really helped me without the Americanization for the Godzilla movie, alright? Heck, but I mentioned Dragon Ball GT, right? Well, I know for a fact that I watched it when I was very, very young. I thought it was pretty damn cool, right? But that was only little kid me being a fanboy. Now, all grown up, I rewatched it, and I'm like, let me rewatch the Japanese dub because I heard that one is a little bit better. And luckily with the English subtitles, I'm like, okay, then I can see why it's better. Yeah, those English translations were, for the English dub, were very, very screwy whatsoever, huh? And then up to now, me getting into the likes of, before getting into Nagatoro, there was the Dragon Maid, yeah, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, in which apparently from what I've been hearing, a controversy happened when it comes to the Funimation dub. So I decided not to watch the Funimation dub to that very controversy. It's already been explained in well detail by many others, so I'm keeping it brief right here. When I say that, like, yep, I watched the Japanese dub, the English subtitles. It was a little bit kind of slow for me, but until the second season and watching it, I was like, okay, then I'm getting used to it. And especially me getting into One Piece, and obviously the later episodes don't even have the English dub because I'm over 700 episodes, right? So luckily I'm now paying attention with the Japanese dub with the English subtitles there as well. So now going to here, when it comes to the Nagatoro series, I'm like, hey, I think the Japanese dub was handled very well. And when I rewatched it in the likes of the English dub, it was really well done. So for the actress, yeah, the voice actress that did Nagatoro was sublime.
Senpai, you should let me be your model instead.
I'd rather not, if that's okay. It's just that I'm not really interested in drawing people.
I think I can change your mind. You just need something a little sexier to get your juices flowing. I bet this is much more your speed.
I thought she nailed the character very damn well, especially with the other talented voice actors, with the other characters known as, Nagatoro Senpai, right? Himself, the other main character. So yeah, with all that aside, as far as I know, I just recently heard that there's already going to be a season 2 of this particular series coming out next year on the start of January, known as, well, going by the full title with the headline, Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, Second Attack. So that's kind of a mouthful, so I'm just for simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna call it the Nagatoro series. All right. So just bear with me. What I still want to say is the fact that, like, well, where do I begin? I do want to address that, like, yeah, there's gonna be some stuff that will be considered to be very suggestive and inappropriate to those, which I will admit it does have those very valid reasons that people will be turned off by that, but they're very mild and tame-ish. Very mildish and tame-ish, if you ask me. They're not as very inappropriate if you've seen the likes of Ikitosen or Rosario Vampire, Makin Ki, or at least it's season 2, which sucked, and Camphor, which I personally didn't like. Apparently that one's awkward. But with that aside, though, if you recall those particular animes that I pointed out, this one isn't as inappropriate. But no, in Japan, they do have their very odd sense of humor and fetishes and so on and so forth. So it didn't really much bug me, all right. And heck, going into like the whole genre territory of where it's aiming for, such as like slice of life, romance, and comedy, messing around with this very trope that has been happening in some media, not all of it, just only some. The type of trope I'm mentioning, well, I'm gonna have to use Hey Arnold to explain this trope, because if you've seen Hey Arnold yourself, that Helga Pataki is taking on the facade that she's very tough, she's kind of like a bully in a certain extent, trying to hide her feelings from Arnold, right? Because she's very much obsessed with Arnold, of course, until like the movies, you know, the first movie, and then the Jungle movie that was only a direct to TV, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, they're messing around with that type of angle here, but it's done differently. It gave it some sort of nuance, some sort of uniqueness, at least in my perspective. I say that very strong and boldly. So to explain this nuance from my own perspective here is that, like, okay, just to keep this very brief before getting in details into this, unlike with Helga Pataki, Nagatoro is nothing like Helga whatsoever, okay? Because she does this whole trope a little bit more differently, especially coming from the writer. So the writer's intentions for Nagatoro Senpai, known as Naoto, that's his name, Naoto, who's an introvert. He's very shy, he's an artist himself, he imagines himself to be some sort of like a medieval warrior in his own drawings and sketches, either in just separate papers or in a notebook. I could definitely see the writer's intentions of having an introvert trying to come out of his comfort zone. Just needs some sort of destructive force to go into a different zone where it's not his criteria or his own comfort zone whatsoever, right? So using Nagatoro as this very good way, at least in my eyes, despite her trying to come across like maybe annoying to those people who are viewing her, her teasing and bullyingness kind of works in this extent, especially how she's trying to tell Senpai like you need to learn how to do this and that, and especially how to at least like crack a joke or an icebreaker, something like that. So it really makes perfectly good sense when it comes to the writer's intentions on how these characters' chemistry is trying to be played out. I really love that. I really, really do, and especially in very comedic fashion. The other thing I do want to address is that like Nagatoro herself will have a feud with her own friends. One of them let it be like an orange cauliflower in terms of her hair color when I saw the anime.
Truth is, he's barely even a slave. More like a bug, if you ask me.
Hey, stop, you've said enough.
Didn't mean to diss your boyfriend.
And the only reason I'm calling her Orange Cauliflower, because if you've seen the Dragon Ball Super anime or looked at the manga, this character does come across as that in some regard or some extent. Heck, there was even like someone did like a fan art where Cauliflower is basically having the same face as this character, and I find that kind of priceless. And you know what? It makes perfectly good sense. It's right before my eyes. Heck, imagine Nagatoro. She's just basically, you know, training to be the next god of destruction, which won't be that case though. All right, but with that aside, apparently, the Orange Khalifa will cross the line a little bit way more than Nagatoro herself. If you honestly think that Nagatoro is trying to cross lines by making her senpai Naoto very upset, think again, because thanks to these mangas, they give me a little bit more of a better understanding of Nagatoro's character, because it seems like she has some sort of level of self-awareness, just a little bit, thinking that she overdid it or not, because she obviously doesn't want to like make this guy be all broken or too fragile by any means. I say that because, again, thanks to these manga, which completely shows it, especially in the first manga, this panel and page, she says that I overdid it, and you get to see her say this again in the other mangas to be follow up with, and you don't get to see these thought bubbles in the anime, but what you do get to see are these bonus chapters. Yeah, these mangas have bonus chapters that do get adapted into the anime, and I'm like, you know what, when I was watching the anime, people, I did got impressions where I'm like, why does it feel so fillerish, even though that it isn't. It didn't make sense to me, right? And I'm like, okay, then now it does make sense to me, because like these are just bonus chapters, which is not really trying to move the story forward, but just to show the chemistry and dynamic between Naoto and Nagatoro. So I actually, you know, kind of appreciate that. There's nothing too wrong with that. Heck, from Dragon Ball and other anime, I don't think they have like bonus chapters other than like spin-offs, you know, like the Yamcha one. I have that up in my shelf, all right? But it's very interesting on how this anime goes through it. So the people who adapted those bonus chapters, good on you. But I just wish I would see those thought bubbles like I mentioned. But you know what? Take it or leave it. I kind of like how I'm seeing it anyways. Heck, you do. I did mention the Orange Khalifa, right? Well, of course, this other character known as Yoshi. She's not like the Orange Khalifa, but apparently, when it comes to the to the second season trailer, they both her as the dumb one, and I'm like, oh, okay then. Well, I guess that sort of makes sense to her character. Oh well. And you also get to see Naoto at least trying to help one of Nagatoro's friends, who I kind of forgot her name, that she was being stalked by one of these gamer boys who was pretty fat, has glasses on, and his hair is all waved down. Like, it does come across as very creepy. So I thought it was very nice of Naoto at least helping one of Nagatoro's friends out. I'm not gonna lie, I think she's kind of a little bit nicer than her other two friends, but of course she also likes to like tease them. Heck, you do get to see Nagatoro's friends. I am mentioning this character who, again, I forgot her name. All I know is just Orange Khalifa and Yoshi. I wish I would remember this other blonde chick's name. That she teased one of the gamer boys, and that they now are upset at each other because, like, you know, this chick, she was also trying to be flirtatious, so there's something brewing there. And then at the middle and ending of the series, at least just the anime portion of things, is that, like, well, we get to meet the president, who has a big personality, if you catch my drift, who comes across as intimidating, but also like a very formidable character for Nagatoro. And not gonna lie, I can see why Nagatoro feels so envious, because look at her character design and compare it to the president. Ooh boy. And what I thought was very both odd and funny is that, like, okay then, so this president, she drove herself naked for the art gallery, and yet apparently the people at school were fine with it. like the staff, principal, whatever. But when she did her second art portrait of herself naked, a second one, apparently they didn't let that one slide. And I'm like, okay, so you guys caught onto this one, but not the one beforehand. Did you guys not pay attention or what? I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird if you ask me. but yeah, like I said, it's pretty funny, but also kind of odd though. Again, this is Japan we're talking about. All right. And I thought what was really nice is seeing Nagatoro herself and her friends. I try to back up the president on her stance when doing a very good art. Yeah, I would agree with these characters, especially the writer, on how it's being written. Obviously, that there were these side characters. They have no eyeballs whatsoever, but you get to see these side characters trying to have a stern face, looking at the very hot-looking president, looking bare naked on her own portrait, like trying to be like very critiquing in their own head on how they think about it, like the composure, the details, the coloring, all that stuff, right? So again, I really love that aspect when it comes to like, hey, defend someone else's artwork, even though it may look very suggestive and inappropriate. There are people that love it, so hey, you gotta give props to that. I kind of respect that in that regard. All right, and so with everything else in terms of like the exchange in lines on how things are being worded out, I think everything is all fine and dandies, especially of course putting that in dialogue for the anime. It really works. It really fits these characters, if I'm being honest myself. Of course, all this stuff, like Alicia's Nagatoro herself and her friends, and of course, like I mentioned before, the suggestive stuff, again, being mildish and tamish. I'm pretty sure it will still turn off some people and not get into it as I am, and also for others. But hey, I would actually kind of recommend it if you want this full-on escapism, and especially just to be purely entertained and have some sort of wholesomeness and have something to make you laugh so damn hard. So yeah, that's all I had to say. What do you guys honestly think about the Nagatoro series, and are you even reading the manga yourself and looking forward to the second season? Let me know in the comments below. This has been JigsVL, signing off right now. Later.